Hello. I got the classic Bev eggs with paprika. You know, I've never used Hulu until today. I just pulled up, I wanted to start watching Atlanta. A lot of people have been watching that, and that seems like one that I would like. Don't know if I'll have the time to make significant progress in it, but figured I'd at least see what it's about. But I've never used Hulu or a lot of these streaming services because I don't really watch movies and shows that much. And tell me why Hulu has ads on the paid service. It's kind of annoying. I assume there's a higher tier where you don't get ads or something, but it's strange that even on the paid version, there's ads. I'm very happy with what I was able to get done today. Oh, no, I dropped my eggs. The day started off pretty crap. I had the worst night's sleep last night that I've had in a long time. It was like kind of off and on sleep. Not very restful. I don't know how much real sleep I actually got last night, but if I got any, it wasn't much. So I was really struggling to stay awake today, starting at like 3 or 4 p.m. I was like, it was hard to keep going, but I managed to not nap, because naps are kind of the devil when it comes to setting sleep schedule correctly. As soon as I forfeit to the fatigue and take a nap, I've lost. So I kept working, and I actually, I got a ton done today. I set up a pretty ambitious schedule of work to do for the next week and a half, because I have a lot to do, and I usually don't follow rigid schedules, but I set up a very specific schedule to follow, and I actually kind of nailed it today, which is exciting that I was able to, I'm glad that I was able to stick to the schedule even though I'm not feeling very well physically, or it's hard to stay awake, especially with such a grindy task like editing. It's kind of hard to stay awake when you're staring at the same screen for hours and hours and hours. But I did it, and I'm feeling good about that because I really don't want to make compromises and fall behind on my schedule. So even though I'm exhausted and not feeling great, I feel good about that. Spirits are high. I usually don't get into TV shows or movies because it's a larger time commitment, and I really don't like to waste a lot of time watching media. But then when I avoid movies and TV, I end up watching YouTube when I do have downtime. And what I'm discovering is YouTube is almost worse because being a shorter form, it's not episodic, like it's not linear one to the next to the next. It's kind of this loop or this chain that just keeps going, and you just can dive down rabbit holes, and like it'll just keep serving you stuff for however long you'll keep clicking. So this might be an experiment that I'll run, if I do have downtime, I just start watching TV shows or movies instead of YouTube and see how that affects that kind of spiral into wasting time. Because while I like the idea of cold turkeying things or setting limits, sometimes there's a simpler way to do it than just than pure willpower, because it's like if I have an hour that I want to set aside to just relax between tasks, it's a lot easier to be like, oh, I'll just sit down and watch 2 episodes of this show instead of I'll watch YouTube for an hour, because then that turns into more and more. Whereas the linear episodic format of a show makes it easier to be like, okay, do I really have this 30 minutes to watch the next episode, or do I not, you know? So it's an experiment I'm gonna run. I'm just trying to figure out what my life in general is gonna look like, because I'm kind of in a bit of a season of change right now, where it's like, in the next couple months, I'll be starting anew in Cleveland and starting a whole new set of routines and habits, and I'm just trying to kind of figure out what I want my life to run like, I guess. And changes like that always kind of feel like a bigger deal than they end up being. But to some degree, it's like I'm gonna meet new people out there. Like, who am I representing myself as? Even like, it's a whole slew of changes all coming at once. So that's why I'm being so like introspective and like trying to figure out what's going on right now. And I'm so focused on like habits and routines, because that's really going to be big for me in the next 6 months. So yeah, that's why I'm talking about like kind of touching on the same topics a lot in these sometimes. It's just the season of life that I'm in right now. As for tonight, I have about an hour and a half left to wait on this render video for my job. And so the editing software is locked up until then. So I have to stay awake until then so that I can edit this and post it. So it looks like for the next hour and a half, I can just guilt-free watch a couple episodes of Atlanta and chill. I'm trying to get better about that too, scheduling time where I just allow myself to relax. So that's the experiment, is budgeting time to just tell myself, hey, I don't have to be nonstop working for my whole day. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for today. I will see you tomorrow.